You mentioned
yes,
about the like you applied 2 days ago on Sunday,
yes,
the day before yesterday, and it's
yes,
like Japanese company. Yeah.
yes.
So that's a senior accountant, and let's see. So this is the company. Let me share the screen with you.
Oh, yes,
Yeah. So it's
yes,
in Belgium. It's not.
yes,
Yeah. So corporate office in Tuan An, Vietnam.
yes, exactly, yes.
Okay, okay, Tuan An.
That's very near my house.
Ah, so it's very close to your house. Okay, yep. So in life, as I always say, like keep your options open,
Yes,
and so yep, if if required, you know, because as you
yes,
know, in your current company, you have a lot of work, especially
yes,
in this current company that you're working. And so if you
yes,
have to kind of scan and upload the documents and also like input
yes,
the records, it's gonna take a lot of time. So
yes,
should you be able to join the American company or this Japanese company, I think you should make the switch. Yep, and also if the salary is higher. So
yes,
should the salary be higher?
yes,
It's a no-brainer. I mean, it's just logical to switch
yes,
to go to like a company with a higher salary.
yes,
So yeah,
yes,
I hope the luck is in your favor. God willing, like let's say
yes,
hope that God is on your side and in your
yes,
favor.
yes.
That's what I hope for, right? And so yeah,
Mm.
um,
And
uh,
uh,
and
and I think I will be the company can pay me higher salary.
in this company, you mean the NIDEC SB Pro?
Yes, yes. Between American company and Japan company, I will choose the company pay me
Higher.
higher. Yes,
Okay, so whichever pays you higher, you're gonna take that. Okay. I mean, it's just logical. Because obviously,
yes,
money is important. So you
yes,
think that like thinking about your
yes,
upcoming marriage, you have to save money,
yes,
like keeping some like savings. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
yes, yes.
Like so the person that called you or like okay you've applied for it, so like they haven't called you right for like interview
Mhm.
whatever, not yet.
Uh, Japan company uh, they uh, they just seen my CV in today and yes,
Okay,
and
so
they not yet call me.
okay, so they have seen a CV,
Yes,
but they haven't called you. Maybe they'll call you in the upcoming days. It's possible
yes,
because you know, just like you, they will also probably
yes,
receive like many applications for this position,
yes,
and so
yes,
they'll have to kind of let's say sift through or go through all those applicants and then call for interview the
yes,
ones that they feel are the most suitable for this position.
yes.
And uh, like when you go for these interviews, do you also meet other candidates, like other applicants besides you? Do you meet them when you go for the interviews?
Yes.
Like let's say when you're going for an interview, right? Uh,
Yes.
like besides you, right? Do you also
Yes.
come across other applicants or other candidates for the same position?
Oh, yes.
You meet them, and when
Yes.
you
Yes.
meet,
Yes.
yep. And so like when you meet them, in what language do you kind of talk to them? In Vietnamese or in English? Like how do you kind of converse with them, or you just keep quiet?
Yes.
Like
I think I use English.
okay, like so when you kind of come across other like candidates, you talk to them in English.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Because it's also like a show of confidence, and also it kind of helps you to practice your like
yeah,
spoken English skills, right? Or English speaking skills, like kind of helps it
yes,
and enhance it. So
yes,
it's kind of good. Um, so in terms of like let's say the English speakers in your country,
yes.
what like percentage of the population in your country do you think speak English? Any idea about that in Vietnam? Like how much
Oh,
percent?
in my opinion, I think not only 20%. I think
Like
so.
about 20%. Oh, okay.
Can you can you check
Yeah,
the Google?
yeah, yeah. So this is what I've seen.
Yes.
So you said 20%, right? Around 20%.
Oh, 20%.
But I think it shows that it's
50.
yeah, it's more than 50%.
Oh,
Okay. Obviously, your
oh,
since Vietnam, your official language is Vietnamese, right? That's your like kind
oh.
of country's language.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
Vietnamese is unsurprisingly the official language of Vietnam, but English is the preferred second language in this country. So your second language
yes.
is English, the second language.
Oh,
All right. So some estimates put the
mm.
percentage of people who speak English in Vietnam at more than 50%. Is that true? Like, do you
Oh,
think is that what it is? So, do you believe
I
that?
don't know.
Uh, um,
I think some people can speak English, but uh, fluent English. I think not much.
okay, let's check this Reddit. All right, let's check this site. Let's see if it helps. Okay. So, do you see this Reddit tab? Okay, so this is like it's a question. All right.
Yes.
So, I'm a Vietnamese American and never been to Vietnam, but I might like go soon there. Though a lot of people
Yeah.
speak English there. And what are the comments? Ah, okay, okay. So you're
Mm.
correct actually. So
Yes.
yes, many people do know English, but their fluency is pretty bad. All right. So
Yes.
a serious answer is very few. So English is
Yeah.
taught in school. Yes. So in English, like let's say in schools, English is taught, but the Vietnamese people they don't pay much attention or like give much focus on English. So although they can speak, they're not very fluent in the language. So yeah,
Yes.
English is taught in schools, but most people don't pay much attention to it. So most people can't really
Yes.
speak English well. So yes, the Vietnamese they can speak English, but they can't speak very
Yes.
well. They can't speak
Yes.
very well. So this is the difference. That
Yes.
this is the so, difference. Yep. So this is misleading. So when they say right, this percentage that 50% can speak, it means that
Yes.
maybe they can speak a few like sentences or a few words, but
Yes.
not fluently.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
yep. So
Yes.
I think you're correct in a sense that only I think around less than 20% can speak the language fluently,
Mm.
the English language.
Yes.
So like they know English, but they don't know how to speak it fluently. This is the difference.
Mm.
That's the
Yes.
difference. Yeah. So I see. This
Yes.
is where the problem comes in.
Yes.
So yeah, I think your country, maybe they're very proud. Like I mean, it should be. You should obviously take pride in your own language.
Yes.
Like it's kind of what is expected. As a Vietnamese, you should take pride in your own language, which is Vietnamese.
Yes.
But yeah, because we're living in a globalized economy, it is
Yes.
important to learn English,
Yes.
since we have a lot of international or multinational companies that work like let's say cross border. So yeah,
Yes.
in this day and age, knowing English is very important, and not just knowing, but knowing how to speak it properly, like fluently.
Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
So yep. So no,
Yes.
many people think they can, but in reality they can say just three sentences and some basic words. So
Yes.
just after like 3 sentences, and that's it. They can't say more than that.
Yes.
Uh, so one out of 20 random people I talk to is able to hold a civil conversation. The rest know some basic stuff or nothing.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the thing. You know, so as you can see here, where is that? So as you were saying, where's that sentence? Maybe here. Maybe I have to decrease the size of this. You know, as you were saying, finding a random. Yup, you're correct. See,
Yes.
wow. I mean, you're correct. You're correct. See,
Yes.
so it's better 21st person. So you know, in school, do they teach you English
Oh yeah. I I I learned English from 9 years old.
from like the age of 9? You learn English.
Yes.
So since like let's say from primary school, you learn English.
Yes.
Okay. However, you don't kind of practice it properly, or maybe like let's say nurture the language, and
Yes.
that's why the fluency is like you're lacking in fluency. I mean
Yes.
because had you been fluent, you wouldn't have like you would have like required me or needed me to teach you like spoken English, right? Because if you know how to speak
Yes.
properly, you wouldn't have needed my service to teach you.
Yes. The
Uh,
Vietnam student learn English very early, and when I don't know, but I when I graduated, uh, normally we cannot speak English.
English, yeah.
Well,
So I think the reason behind is that because Vietnam, it is a very like homogeneous population, like homogeneous. So
yes,
basically, like let's say people from maybe like one community,
yes,
and that's why in Vietnam you use your language a lot more.
yes,
Whereas India, like where I grew up, India is a very diverse country, right? And so there are like several communities in India.
yes,
We've got people from many communities, and therefore, when growing up, we have to use English to kind of communicate because
yes,
you meet people from different like tribes and communities, and they have their
yes,
own local languages. That's why English is like the medium of communication in India that we use. Like it's the like
yes,
the most preferred language. Therefore, when growing up, we're forced to use the language to sort of like let's say interact with people, and
yes,
that's why I was able to become fluent in the language because I had to use the language to kind of communicate with other people. So
yes,
I had no choice. But in your country, maybe like your let's say your community is Khan, right? Khan community.
yes.
And this Khan, like it's the majority in the country, your community.
Oh, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes.
And so, what percentage of the population is Khan? Any idea about that? Like, what percentage of the population in Vietnam is Khan? Any idea about this?
Uh,
So
I think
can you tell me?
not much people.
Khan, like it's the
Yes.
majority, right?
Uh,
Oh,
much.
no. So like
I think that
as in like
less.
no. So let's say example, right? Let's say Vietnam 100 people, okay?
Yes.
Example. This is an example. Let's say example. Let's say Vietnam has 100 people, okay?
Yes.
So out of these 100 people, how many are from the Khan community? How many? Or how much? How many are from the
Uh,
Khan community? Like let's say if 100 people, like let's say this is just an example. An example.
I think one people.
No, no. So example, right? Let's say in Bangladesh,
Yes.
let's say 100 people from Bangladesh. Okay, 90 people are Bengali.
I
So
understood.
okay,
Yes.
so what percentage of the population are Khan? Not English, like Khan community.
Uh, kin
Yeah, kin. Yeah, oh yeah, kin.
yeah, kin
Okay.
community. Yes.
So is it like how to pronounce it? Is it kin or Khan? Is it like this?
Uh, I think that around I 80 80%.
80% of the population.
Yes.
So they belong to the kin community.
Yes.
So like how do you kind of spell that? Is it Khan? Is this kin
Uh, K-I-N-H.
like this? Knh?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
kin. Oh, okay, okay. So your title or your surname is Khan,
Yes.
and your community or let's say your ethnicity is kin.
Yes, kin.
Okay, so the kin community,
Yes.
and so out of 100%, over eighty
Yes.
percent of like Vietnamese population belong to this community, the this
Yes.
one.
Yes.
For example, in our country, around like 90% are Bengali, 90%,
Oh,
and
yes.
just 2% were like you say indigenous. So like
Ah.
the rest all Bengalis. So they're the majority, around 90% of our current population,
Oh,
and they speak, you could say, Bengali or Bangla. All right, so this is like the national language of Bangladesh.
Bangla Bangladesh.
Yep.
Ah.
So this language, like let's say the Bengali or Bangla,
Yes.
because since they're the majority, like the Bengalis, that community. So
Yes.
this language is the national language of Bangladesh.
Yes.
And as for us minorities, we have our own language, like our own languages, but we are in the minority.
Yes.
So just like your country, like Vietnam, also in Bangladesh, people don't know how to speak English very well because
Yes.
we have a very, like you can say, it's mostly a very homogeneous population. So people
Yes.
belonging to the let's say the same community or like one community.
Yes.
That's why. Whereas in India, it's very diverse.
Yes.
So people from several communities make up the country,
Oh, yes.
and that's why we have to use English to communicate. And
Oh, yes.
that's how I became fluent in English because I was like forced to use the language to communicate.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So maybe like had the country been like let's say a bit diverse, probably your English would have been a lot better
Yes.
because like since you're not forced to use the language, that's why you didn't kind of learn the language properly, the English language.
Yes.
So I
Oh.
I
Oh,
was
and
just
so when you come India, your English mm,
yes, yes.
yes, better
Yeah.
in the
Then,
future.
yep.
Yes.
So the thing is that I grew up in India. All right.
Yes.
So from class three, I was in India,
Yes.
and so from 2003, I was in India
Yes.
up until my graduation in 2017. So I was there
Yes.
for almost like 15 years,
Yes.
and in those years I learned like I became a fluent speaker of English. That's how I
Yes.
became a fluent speaker. Had I grown up in Bangladesh, I would not have
Yes.
been fluent in English.
Oh,
So I actually became fluent because I grew up in India.
yes.
Had I grown up in Bangladesh, I don't think so I would have been fluent
Oh,
because I would have mostly just spoken Bengali or my own,
yes.
like my own like let's say native language,
Yes.
or like if I meant like my mother tongue probably.
Oh,
But because I grew up in India, I was forced to use English to communicate,
okay.
and that's how I became fluent in the
Yes.
language. But
Oh yeah.
for you, since in your country you're the majority
Yes.
community, the Kin community, right? Like you're in the majority, and
Yes.
because you use Vietnamese, that's
Yes.
why your fluency in English never really increased.
Yes.
Because you prioritize your Vietnamese over English.
Yes.
So that's why I understand. Yeah. So
That's a reason.
see, like this is the number of fluent speakers is barely 20%, and so you're correct in what you said. Yep. So finally, like what I've come to know is that although in Vietnam English is taught from primary school, but your people, like the Vietnamese people, they don't kind of like kind of practice English,
Yes.
and that's why you're not very fluent in the language.
Yes.
That's what I've come to know. Haha. Okay, but hopefully, with me helping you, hopefully, like I can make you fluent in English. All right.
Yes.
So once you reach a B2 level in any language, that's considered fluent. Okay, B2 language. Like in like if you talk about speaking like a language, B2
Yes.
level, like B2 level is enough when it comes to speaking the language.
Oh. Oh yes.
Yep. But if you talk about like the full fluency,
Yes.
which includes speaking, writing, then let's say listening, and also reading, right? Then
Yes.
you would need C2 level, all right? That's fluent.
Oh yes.
Okay, the C2 level. This is where we say fluent or like let's say proficient, all right?
Yes.
But if you just talk about just speaking,
Yes.
then B2 level is fine. That's more
Yes.
that's more than enough to kind of work in a professional let's say office, or
Yes.
like let's say in the professional sphere, or let's say in the professional jobs. A B2 level English is more than enough to kind of handle an everyday conversation or task. That's more than enough.
Yes.
But if you want to be proficient in everything from speaking, writing, listening, everything, then you will need C2
Yes.
level. At the C2 level to be like really good, or at least C1, C1 to C2.
Yes.
So C1, C2, somewhere at this level. If you want to be good in all the four bands.
Yes.
But as for you, you only want to know how to like learn speaking, right? So that's your main objective, to improve speaking.
Yes.
So hopefully I can help you, and you become a fluent speaker in English. Okay.
Yes. I think that majority reason we when learn English from primary school and but we only use Vietnamese Vietnamese every day.
Yeah, ask like maybe.
Uh, everyone with
Yeah,
everyone.
for more, let's say for more. Yeah. So uh, if you're a fluent speaker of the English language, it kind of
Yes.
increases your chances of being hired for more like for like higher positions or bigger positions. Okay.
Yes.
So that's what it does. Yep. So as you mentioned, around 80+%, right? So that's what.
Yes.
So over like 80+%, they belong to the Kin community, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this one. In Bangladesh, I think around 90%, they belong
Oh
to like let's say Bengali,
yes.
and we are just 2%, the
Yes.
minorities, indigenous. All right, we're in the minority.
Yes.
So yep, because they're in the majority, we use that language. We use Bangla or Bengali as like let's say for everyday conversation, because
Yes.
that is a national language. So let me check for Bangladesh. Let's just like for Vietnam. Let me just check the number of uh, fluent English speakers in Bangladesh. I think it's very less, just like your country. Uh, what's the country? Maybe as a first language. Yep. So around 12% can speak like let's say fluently.
Oh, yes.
Around 12%. So
So
yeah, like
that makes
fluently,
sense.
around 12%.
Yes.
As you can see here, an
Yes.
estimated 12% Bangladesh population can speak English. All right, so like that. Probably the rest, not very well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like probably this is the only percentage. So it's lower than even your country, because
Yes.
since for is 80% plus are from the Kin community, whereas in our country is 98% are from Bengali community.
Yes.
So that's why in English, yep. So just like in Vietnam, also in Bangladesh, we're taught English from primary school. But outside of the classroom, everyone just speaks Bangla or Bengali. So,
Oh, yes.
yeah, maybe for that one subject we use English, but for every other subject and for like for our daily conversation, everybody uses Bangla. So that's why it kind of it kind of hampers our English like fluency.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but hopefully, as a teacher, or like I can kind of help you to improve your fluency. Okay, in English.
Yes.
And what would your assessment be? Do you think you've improved a lot compared to your first class?
Oh, yes. Certainly. Now I feel I'm better than the first, and yes, yes. Mm, I confident when I talk with my boss, and but when I learn first, I'm not confident, and I only talk some words, and something I cannot talk some my thinking, and I will search Google and translate, and I read it.
Oh, okay, okay. So like you're unable to express your thoughts because of your like
Yes,
let's say your limited vocabulary. That's why because
yes,
of lack of words, you're unable to
yes,
kind of express your thoughts. But yeah, this will like gradually increase. Maybe in the previous
yes,
company it was worse. Now I think slowly you'll kind of will able to maybe respond much like let's say promptly or better. All right,
yes,
and with any language, be it Vietnamese, English, or any language, the more you use the language, okay, the more you use, the more you practice, the better you
yes,
become. Okay, so it's
yes,
so it's all about using the language, using and practicing. Okay,
yes,
using and practicing,
yes,
and like let's say and practicing. All right, so this is how you kind of improve that.
yes,
All right, so yeah, keep using the language English. Also keep practicing. All right.
yes,
Yep. Okay, so I mean, I think we've come to the end of our session for today. So,
yes.
yep. Before we conclude today's session, is there anything else that you would like to say or add?
Yes. Today I feel very happy, and I can share with you my job and my problem in my company.
Yep. I can understand your like your work issues. That one.
Yes.
God willing, or like let's say hopefully, luck is in your favor, and you're able to kind of
Yes.
I don't know, maybe get a new job soon to kind of maybe
Yes.
something like that,
Yes.
like with a higher salary.
Yes.
That's what I hope.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, but for now, let's say I hope God gives you the strength and
Yes.
the perseverance to be able to handle your job. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, and yeah. So, all right, Khan, I shall see you again on Thursday.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
See you on Thursday.
yeah. So for now, take care, and yep, good night and take care. Okay.
Yes. Good night, teacher.